Ready?
Go.
Ready! Hey, what's up? It's the Genesee County Compassion Club show. What's up, everybody? Coming to you live from All Points TV. Of course, it might not be that live by the time it gets to you, but whatever. Hey, what's up, John? Got John in the studio.
Hey. It's good to have you back in the studio.
It's good to be back, man.
It's been like 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, you've been busy.
It has been busy. It's just, that's that time of year.
Yeah, it's like, is that harvest or is it planting?
It's planting.
Okay.
Garden time.
I don't know if you reversed it because of indoor that changed it up or not.
No, not marijuana planting. We're talking like tomatoes and corn and that kind of planting. So, but anyways, yes, I'm back. We're back with the show, and we're going to talk about marijuana because that's what we do. Tell you what's happening down at the Genesee County Compassion Club. It's always been great. It's going awesome, of course, and let you know what's going to be happening in the future. We've got some events coming up I want to talk to you guys about. Let you guys know what's happening in the news here in Michigan and whatever else we want to talk about. Man, it's a gorgeous day outside. I'm kind of bummed that I'm actually in the studio, even though I'm glad to be in the studio, but there's no skylights. So, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a good day to be a plant. You know what I'm saying? John, I got to talk to this guy. John has been the witness. This is a little off topic from our normal show, but because it happened right here in our backyard, we got to talk about this. You might even heard it over at the club earlier today. Did anybody hear any loud booms?
This was yesterday.
This was yesterday?
Yesterday, yeah, and it was around a little bit after 2 o'clock. And at first I thought the explosions are happening on the expressway. I was sitting at home. I just got home from the studio.
Yeah.
Had a show. And here, and I recorded and I put it up.
So Tuesday, this week, you guys hear any loud booms over there at the club?
Yeah, one guy stopped in when I was doing an interview with Channel 5 today, and he said he lives 11 miles from the site, and he heard it and he felt it for over the 11 miles away.
Wow. Well, we're talking about Lowell Middle School. It's right over here, right in the backyard of the club and also kind of the backyard of the podcast, if you will, just a few miles from here, or from the club, I should say. But this is the old closed down Lowell Middle High School. It's a humongous building. If you guys haven't been by it or don't know what I'm talking about, this is a big, huge old school, part of Flint, and it's been shut down for years. John, the guy that makes it happen right here, All Points TV, used to be a student there years ago.
Well, I went there. I mean, there wasn't a real student. She just basically squeaked through.
You attended there.
I attended there, yes. I showed up,
You were a pupil.
I refused to study, but.
Yes, well, they can't make everyone conform, John.
Right.
But you can actually check this out. Go to All Points TV on YouTube. Check it out. There's video of the explosions that happened yesterday. The U.S. military was doing some kind of training exercise, and truth be told, we still don't have any kind of concrete info as to what they were doing. No one from the military or from the Army wants to return phone calls. And I guess they're not even returning calls to like Channel 12, so it's not just us little peon guys. But anyway, yeah, John captured it right on film. You guys can check it out on YouTube. You can see the smoke coming up from the explosions. It was the U.S. Army. The guy at least, coughed that bit of information in.
Although he was in civilian clothing, which is very disconcerting. He's not dressed.
Guy's got like a silk shirt on and a pair of Ray-Bans. He's out there with his radio. But anyways, you guys got to check this out. John captured this. This is real stuff. U.S. military doing training exercises right here in Flint. We knew that was going to happen, but I didn't know it was going to happen right there at Little Lowell Middle School. And the funny thing was it was not roped off. I mean, you couldn't tell anything was going on. You guys got to check the video out. And, obviously the security guy there stops John, but he's a plainclothes dude just standing there. And, it's like two big booms, and it was the U.S. Army. I don't know what they were doing, but there's 2 giant holes in the side of the building now. You can go check them out. Lowell's abandoned. You could go walk through it if you got enough guts. But I wouldn't recommend that. But
you just walk around the property, though. I mean, you can
drive around the property for that matter and see. It's pretty amazing. 2 big holes in the side of the building. John says he thinks
there's 4. There's 4 built. There's actually two in the back.
2 in each side.
Yeah, 2 each side. So yeah, you can see it.
Little plastique or something like that.
The nice, fairly circular hole. Circular holes. gaping
doing
holes.
some Call of Duty up on that sucker?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mean, but it was like, I got up there to hear the last set of them, and there was a few before that. That's the reason why everybody was really concerned.
Yeah.
And see, the notice said it was printed, sent out. The U.S. military is going to be doing this from June 1st to June 12th in the Flint area and Southeast Michigan. The police will contact people and the residents and immediately impacted on it, which they didn't do, by the way, guys. That's the reason why all the neighborhood was up in arms about this.
Yeah, the neighbors around the area had no idea what was going on except for these, huge explosions, rattling everything, turning off car alarms or
starting them off. Setting them off.
Pretty amazing, scary stuff. Really. I mean, you think about all the different things that are tied to that. You got the police and the military working together, supposedly, to do these exercises. I don't want to get into all that, but this is I don't know. It's kind of freaky.
We're living in interesting times. And
definitely interesting times, no question about it. And when your own government doesn't have to answer to its citizens, that's the way it should be. But clearly, it doesn't. So, but John, glad you captured that info. Check out All Points TV on YouTube. Check out those videos. The guy he's talked to actually gives a number out for their public affairs department. So if you got enough guts, give them a call and see if they've got an answer for you as to what was going on or why they're doing this or whatever. But, I guess my thing is, and John brought this up as a good point too, that's a terrible building over there. It's clearly an eyesore, but above that, it's a problem. I mean, you've got, possible like infestations going on inside of there. You've got vagrancy going on. A lot of dangerous situations can happen in a big, huge, giant place like that that's just sitting there empty with no protection, no fences, no security. And, now it's got two gaping holes on each side of it in addition to the other places you could already sneak in on. And, I mean, what's the city going to do about places like this? This is a problem. I mean, you've got a lot of small children in this area that, that might be a fun place to go play at, which is extremely dangerous. I mean, you've got broken glass in there. It's really, the place is falling down, falling apart. We just had a student, not too long ago fall through the roof of an abandoned building and die. So this is a real issue that's going on, with all these different places that we've got. And so if we've got the money, my question is, if we got the money to go blow a couple holes in the side of it as part of a military training exercise, why don't you finish the job? Crumble that sucker. You drop a few more bombs on it and, at least make it so that we can get started on rehabilitating the area. It's a huge piece of property over there, and there's a lot more like it here in Flint. And, you just, in my opinion, you just made it a lot worse because now it's more accessible for people and animals to get in there. It's a bigger eyesore. And now that folks know what's going on, they're going to want to check it out. It's going to draw attention to it among other places that are, like I said, just like this one. To me, I don't know. It's just a bad idea all the way around.
Another,
I don't know.
I wonder if we could do this in the suburban areas. So they're basically saying we could do whatever we could do to
urban area.
This urban residential, it's pretty heavily populated. I mean,
there's houses all the way around, with the exception of the junkyard that backs up to it.
Right.
You know what I mean? But on the other three sides, and granted, Lowell takes up an entire city block, but all around those blocks, those are all residential areas.
Right, and just like in basically total disregard for who we are. I mean, basically they're writing us off. We don't have to answer to you. You don't have political power. You don't have money.
I understand
we can do whatever we want to.
Do exercises, and they might want to have different places to train at, blah blah blah. But beyond all that, you got a big, huge building problem, structural issue here that needs to be taken care of, and the military just made it a lot worse. So, all right. Anyways, let's talk about something fun like weed. Know what I'm saying? Let's move on here. But be sure to check out those videos. They're very cool. It's right here in our backyard. It's awesome. All right, moving on here. Get back to the track. What's going on at the club? I'll tell you what's going on. Awesomeness. That's what's going on. You guys rock. And I always got to say thank you because you just make it such an amazing place to go to and hang out. And I don't spend enough time there, but when I do, I love it. It's fantastic. You guys make it just the most enjoyable place on earth, period. So thank you. But here's what's going on. We've got Leader Dogs for the Blind golf outing. You can see the flyers all around the club. If you golf, or even if you don't golf, go have some fun. It's usually a scramble, 4-man teams. I'm going to be golfing. I'm not a golfer at all. I mean, I'll hit the ball. Usually what I do, here's what I do. I get 20 balls, and when they run out, I'm done golfing. That's my golf game right there. But I'm sure, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're a golfer or not. You can go out and support a good cause. The money helps raise funds to help get those dogs trained and get them to people that need them. Like I said, it's called Leader Dogs for the Blind. We did this charity last year. It was an awesome event. Had a lot of fun. It was beautiful weather, great golf course, and the golf course is very cool. You know what I'm saying? So sign up for the event, have some fun, donate some money. Flyers are all around the club, and you can sign up at the snack bar or over at the security check-in station. And it's, like I said, it's going to be a blast. We've got another golf outing coming up here at the end of August. It's going to be a G3C golf event. And I know that we're just getting our flyers made up for that. I just saw the prototype for the flyers last night. Looks great. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to raise money for a special charity that is up at Hurley Hospital. And what the charity does is it buys books and then gives those books to children that have been through traumatic events that are there in the hospital, children that are underprivileged, and gets them something in their hands that they can take home with them and help provide them a little bit of fun, entertainment, a little bit of imagination, creativity, all the things that go along with reading. So it's a good, useful tool. It's a charity that's been rocking up there, and we want to help them out. So this golf event that's going on at the end of August, it's a G3C golf event, is going to help benefit that charity. So there'll be more to come about that. I'm sure I'll be talking about it more here on the podcast throughout the summer, and I'm excited about it. So I wanted to make sure I mention it on the show here today. So, let's see. All right, other events. What do we got going on? Oh, yeah, there is one more thing I want to mention. 710. All you dabbers out there, get your rigs ready. Get your oil set, because we're going to have a 710 party. We've never done it before. We've always had the 420 parties, and this year we had enough people basically twist our arms to get us to basically say, okay, we'll have a party, and yeah, we're gonna have a party. 710. So mark your calendars, July 10th. Obviously 710. Flip it over. It spells oil for all you people out there that don't know. But this is about the concentrates. This is about the dabs. This is about all of those wonderful different forms, shatter, wax, booter, you name it. And I'd like to include some of the other concentrates as well, like bubble hash, or some people like to call it like the holy water. There's a lot of different things out there, but concentrates. And, a lot of people wonder, are concentrates legal? Aren't they illegal? You can't have concentrates, can you? Yes, you can. If you go to the court thing and you want to read through all of it, knock yourself out. But really, the bottom line is as long as your material has plant material in it, then it's covered by Section 4 of the law. If you've got a substance that doesn't have plant material in it, then it's probably not covered by Section 4 of the law. It could be covered by Section 8, but that costs a lot of money. So you want to make sure that your material has plant material in it, if you know what I'm saying. So, anyways, 710, that's the party, that's the date. Mark your calendars. There's no charge. It's just going to be free party. It's a regular day. We're going to be open regular hours, but it's going to be nothing but regular. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have bands, and we're going to have dabs. There's probably going to be other stuff there too, but what more do you need than music and dabs? I don't know. I don't think you do. So that's it. I'm done. That was awesome. I'm so excited. John?
I've been hearing a lot about dabs, and
Yeah.
it's like on YouTube they got videos, and they're saying this is so
Channel 12
dangerous.
had like the dangers of dabbing or something like
Is
that.
it, but basically, I'm sorry. I'm saying this. I'm an advocate. That I'm behind this, but it does look like freebasing.
Well, I can understand from the the third party point of view, looking at it from a distance, it does look like something that, isn't necessarily therapeutic. A lot of people would say, well, how could that possibly be medicinal? Well, it's all about, how much medicine are you getting into someone's body? And, whether or not the person needs that amount, that's up for that person to decide. But, really, when it comes down to ingestion, it's about how much of that cannabinoid content can you get into your bloodstream. And you're either going to eat it, smoke it, rub it on your skin, whatever works for you. And dabbing is just one of those methods. You can actually get a lot more cannabinoids in your bloodstream by eating it. So, for those folks out there that just want to get high and want to brag about how high they've been, the way to do that is by eating it. Sorry to burst your bubble. It's not dabbing. But at any rate, for those of you that do still enjoy, smoking concentrates, It does provide a better medicinal relief because it does provide more cannabinoids into the bloodstream. And for a lot of folks that have been ingesting cannabis for long periods of time and for, a good amount of consistency, they can find that they reach a plateau in their medicinal effect. And so they're not really receiving the benefits that they're used to getting, like the pain relief or maybe the appetite stimulation. So they're looking for something extra, and, being able to inhale a concentrate is going to give them that extra that they're looking for. So dabbing, really all it is, John, you've heard about it back in the 70s. Guys were smoking hash oil or hash. Really dabbing is just the new age form of that. So they're heating up a piece of metal, to a pretty high temperature, and then they're simply setting that concentrate on there, whether it be hash or wax or shatter, whatever they want to call it. It's just a concentrated form of the cannabis flower. They're taking that material, putting it on that piece of metal, and because the metal's so hot, it instantly vaporizes and it smokes up. And then they simply pull that smoke through a rig, like a water pipe or a bong or a pen or whatever it is they're using. But so that's really what it is. It's not anything new. I know that it's all the new rage and it's getting a lot of hype. But honestly, you talk to some of these guys that have been around and they'll tell you, yeah, man, we've been smoking concentrates for 40 years. What are you talking about? So, that's just the reinventing the wheel, if you will. And, there's a lot of folks out there now that are using different methods to extract concentrate that maybe weren't as popular 30, 40 years ago. Some of these methods are improved, and so the extraction process is improved along with it. And, the end result is a higher potent product. That's a fact. But at any rate, it's the same thing. It's just new and improved, if you will. There's really no reason to be all hyped about it. When we talk about Simpson oil, and people are just starting to catch on to this now, and I think the media is going to start to catch on to it as well. But when you talk about using Simpson oil and eating that person's getting a much higher cannabinoid content into their bloodstream than the person who's sitting next to them and dabbing all day. So, if you want to talk about getting it into your bloodstream, really getting the medicinal effects, there's a lot of different ways to do that. And, hey, to each their own. But we will be dabbing it out on 710. You can bet that. Mark your calendar, John. All right? We're going to have a band outside. You can come party with us.
Outside, that's cool.
Yeah.
I still going to try to get one of your sandwiches up there yet.
Oh, dude, we got a new sandwich. I just tried it today. Thank you for reminding me. It's called the WTF sandwich because they didn't know what to call it. But it's basically you pick your bread, and then it's cream cheese with bits of jalapeno and peppers that have been chopped up in it. And you don't even notice because it's got cream cheese, like a jalapeno popper. It's not hot, you know what I'm saying? But it adds a little bit of flavor. So you take that cream cheese spread on your bread, and then you get roast beef, bacon, and I think it's ham. But you can get salami if you don't want ham. You can mix it up however you want, really, with the meats. That's what I like. Roast beef, bacon, and ham. You get all your three important meats. Put that on the cream cheese, and then you can add whatever you want. I put a little bit of romaine on there to give a little bit of crunch. You could add some more cheese. We got all kinds of farmers market deli cheese right there for you if you want to do that. And then another piece of bread with some more of that cream cheese jalapeno spread, and you're good to go. It's awesome.
I've gotten into the past couple of months is Lebni. It's like the Lebanese cheese.
Yeah, it's basically like
yogurt.
Plain yogurt.
Yeah, got it. Yeah. It's so thick, but it's so creamy. Oh, it's good.
If you like Lebni and you like that sour, thick creaminess, get yourself some Shun Cliche.
What's that?
It's basically the same thing, but it comes in these little pickled balls, and it's kind of like a pickled Lebni.
Okay, where's that from?
Same thing. It's Arabic food.
Okay.
You can usually find it at like Bada West or the farmer's market. The name fails me. The guy at the farmer's market.
He was just here. That's Beirut Market.
Yes.
Sam Jahari. He was just here.
He's got him there. Tell him you want some Shun Cliche. Stuff's awesome. It's like the most sour, like tart yogurt, and it's really thick, almost like thicker than cream cheese. Almost
sounds good.
No, it's absolutely delicious. But anyways, got off shoot here. What I was talking about before we got on the Shun Cliche, you got something near and dear to my heart, Lubney. You can make that yourself. And you know what? You want some killer Lubney? Make it from the milk that we have at the farmer's market, because it's the whole milk straight from the cow. It's got a lot more fat content in it, so it comes out even thicker. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's good.
Anyways, the sandwich is the WTF. That's the sandwich you want. It's the WTF.
Sounds good. You're going to have to bring me one.
I tell you.
gonna have to
That
bring-
or a Monte Cristo.
Oh, those are good. I
Oh,
heard.
dude, they're so good. The waffles,
Eric
and the
likes
jam,
one, yeah.
and the roast beef. Or ham. Not roast beef, it's ham.
Yeah,
Man. All right, anyways, go check out the Holistic Center if you haven't been over there yet today. They got delicious food. The ladies doing just an awesome job, and I mean, they're always coming up with something. It's just, I'm hungry now. You screwed me up. That was like a mind fuck. I can't think now.
That's what I hate. Same here. It's like saying, what do I got at home?
We need now to break for food. Sorry, we're going to beat 5. Take 5. All right, I do have some info I wanted to share with you about medical marijuana, the laws, and blah, 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 stuff like that. Give you guys an update as to what's happening here in Michigan. I believe it was just this week they had another judiciary hearing committee on 2 different medical marijuana bills. These are essentially the same bills that were up in the last year's session. The one is for the dispensaries, if you will, and then the other one is for the edibles, if you will. So 2 different bills. They've been put back up there. They're pretty well represented by a number of different activists that came forward. I didn't see too many different points of opposition that were listed. If you want more details, you can check out the Compassion Chronicles. My man Rick Thompson over there is always doing a great job of talking about the events and covering everything. But at any rate, these are the 2 bills. Like I said, pretty much the same things that we had last year, and now they're back on the table. They do have to be approved in both the House and the Senate, so it goes through the same process that it was going through before. And if they ever do get voted on, then they'll get to be presented to the governor for him to sign off before it would be passed into law. So got a bit of a road to travel down, just like they did previously, and I'd encourage you guys to get involved, to check them out, reread them if you haven't. If you haven't read it before, check it out, obviously. And you can look at the summaries. They do a pretty good job of summarizing the bills, so you don't have to read through all the 30 pages or whatever it is. But check it out, and then the next step is get involved. Call your representative, call your senator, and let them know how you feel. Do you want these bills to pass or don't you? And you can make that decision for yourself. How do I feel about them? I mean, quite frankly, I don't know. I mean, I think that we need to have more talk. I think there needs to be more points of view being presented, and I think there's a lot more work that can be done. In addition to me saying that, yes, there's also a couple other bills on the table right now, and I guess let me rephrase that, because they're not bills yet, they're just petitions. And I'm talking, of course, about the Michigan Legalize, or MI Legalize campaign that's going on right now. It's getting some hype in the paper, which is a good thing for them. And what this is it's a ballot measure. They want to get this on the ballot so that you guys can vote on it. And if it gets enough signatures, then it will make it to the ballot. So just like our medical marijuana law started out with grassroots ballot signature organizing, that's what MI Legalize is doing right now. The difference is that MI Legalize doesn't have a kickstart fund of $2 million like our medical marijuana law did. So that's something to take into account. They're going to need a lot of help if they want to try to get this through. So you guys want to check this out, normal.org. You can check it out there. You can go to Google, obviously. Just check out MI Legalize and read the proposal for yourself. It might be something that you want to sign on, and it might be something that you want to try to help collect signatures for, possibly. But it does legalize adult use for recreational purposes to people 21 years of age and older. It legalizes industrial hemp production, commercial hemp production, and then also, like I said, commercial production for recreational marijuana purposes as well. So there's a lot to it. There was a couple other proposals out there that were being talked about, and from what I hear, they're not really going anywhere at this point. There was a big scary one that was mentioned where they were talking about having like 5 or 10 different places do all the production for the legalized market here in Michigan if it should so become legal. And of course, I don't think anybody that we know wants to see that happen, because last time I checked, none of us have the last name of Meyer or DeVos or anything like that. But obviously, if the marijuana should be legalized in Michigan for adult purposes, for recreational purposes, I think the majority of folks out there want to see it remain a main street type of business so that the economy can grow, so that, mom and pop can grow from it, literally and, of course, pun-wise. But anyways, you guys got to check this stuff out because it's going to constantly get thrown at you. You're going to hear stories in the media And that's one of the things that the media can go to right now and get a lot of views. It's one of those trigger buttons that they can pull anytime they need to pop on the TV and get their ratings up. So you need to be careful about what the news is talking about. I mean, obviously, we just mentioned earlier on this program, I think it was Channel 12's, dangers of dabbing. I mean, this is pure sensationalizing, and it's nothing more than to try to get you to watch their show. And so that at the end of the day, they can take those numbers and go to their advertisers and say, look, you need to pay more, or you should advertise with us. It's just a money game. So don't get mad at them. Just follow the money and realize what's going on.
I just took notes on this so that I can start using the approach here, monetize this place,
You have to kind of, that's what it is all about. It's about getting those views. And John, you know as well as I do that the news is about them staying in business. I mean, just like most businesses are staying in business, and that's just a nature of the game. And unfortunately, it's clouded the authenticity of the material that you're watching there clearly. I mean, when you guys watch those programs, when it's BS and when it isn't. And so you do want to pay attention. When you hear about these different bills, do your own research, check it out for yourself. The internet makes it real easy to do nowadays, and you can avoid a lot of the hoopla and the hype and having somebody freak you out because they heard some story on Channel 5 or whatever it was. But yes, there are petitions going around for MI legalized, so make sure you check that out. I haven't heard that the other bill's gaining any steam as far as the one that has the 5 or 10 different places wanting to steal everything from us. But it is something we have to keep our eyes open to. And as far as the medical bills, I mean, like I said, these are the same bills that went around last year, and you guys need to check those out and get involved in them as well. So. Other news that's going on, you guys might have caught this story. This was 2 Michigan women that got caught bringing back it was like 118 or 117 pounds of marijuana. They're supposedly bringing that back from Arizona to Dearborn. And another case of the drug war going bad, and shows the extreme end of things. But the interesting thing about this case is that the big headline on the case is 2 Michigan women jailed for $716,000 in marijuana. I mean, and that's the figure that's blasted in the headline. $716,000 in marijuana. And that seems like a huge amount, doesn't it, John?
Massive amount.
Well, yeah, massive. So I was, and not to say that 116 pounds is a small amount. It certainly isn't. It's 116 pounds. It's a lot to something, right? But at any rate, I did the math on this because in the past, the FBI is usually associated like a pound of cannabis being seized to about $4,000 street value. And if you do the math on this one here, it's nowhere near that. $716,000 and 117 pounds. It's closer to $7,000 a pound, just real quick. So where are they getting these new figures from is what I'm wondering. I'm kind of reading between the lines here. I don't care about the case. I don't care about anything else that's going on in this headline other than the manipulation that's right in front of you that is on the first line. $716,000, and the actual capture was nowhere near worth that amount. I'm sure 116 pounds is worth a decent amount of money. I don't know what it is worth, but I can tell you it's nowhere near worth $700,000. All right? Maybe if it was 116 pounds of cocaine or something, or gold. But I don't know. That's why you got to be careful with the news. That's what I'm saying. All right, do you guys hear about the raids that happened up north? This is kind of disturbing. There was a number of raids that were conducted earlier this week on dispensaries that were operating in a number of different counties up north, actually. But the main ones were in the Gaylord area. And there was a number of different places that were running there. Grayling, Gaylord, I think were both of them. And a few other counties like Otsego, Antrim, I think was another one that was involved. But this was obviously a big raid that was conducted on multiple different businesses. They're not even trying to say that the businesses were interconnected. That wasn't the case. But they are saying that all of these businesses were somehow operating illegally and outside of the confines of the Michigan medical marijuana state law. Of course, the folks that are involved in these raids, the dispensary owners or the collectives, whatever they were as far as businesses, but these places where people went to go get their meds at up north, currently they're shut down now because of this. They might be facing criminal charges, although none have been filed yet. And in the meantime, all their assets have been seized. We're talking vehicles, all their meds, any cash they had laying around, computers, laptops, cell phones, this type of thing. And, this goes back to that civil asset forfeiture. Like, what the heck, man? These people haven't been even charged with crimes, and they've already had their stuff taken. You had to take their car. Really? Was their car out there dealing drugs in the parking lot? Popping its door open. Hello, your door is ajar, and there's one more jar here for you. I mean, this is ridiculous. But it's sad. It's sad to see this happening. Obviously, there's a lot of folks up north. And from what I've been told, the friends that I have that live in the northern area of Michigan, meds are hard to come by. I mean, you got to make a day of it to go get your medication because sometimes it's 2-3 hours away. Very limited selection as well. So, this is already a very limited thing that's going on. And then now it's going to be that much worse because these places have been forcibly closed. So be interesting to see what happens. If charges are filed, of course, we'll tell you about it here on the program. And we'll keep you up to date with what's going on with these different businesses. But I know that some of those guys up there are members of the club, and they're brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? The patients and caregivers out there that were trying to do the right thing that got stuck in this gray area. And unfortunately, the prosecutors and the state police up there decided that, well, it was just too gray for them. Hopefully, something can be done. Hopefully, they can work out something in that area so that patients can get their medication, because certainly this isn't the way to do it. And, we just had a similar situation happen here in Flint where we had a lot of businesses that were operating as dispensaries that were not operating under license. And, the city of Flint had passed an ordinance, set forth rules and guidelines and application process, yada, yada, yada. And some of the businesses didn't do that. So instead of going in and raiding them and taking all their stuff, they simply went in and said, here's a sticker on your door. Don't open back up again until you go through the process. I mean, it's a totally different way of doing things, but it's the right way because those businesses, a lot of them are now back open up again or are currently going through the process of getting licenses and getting back open again. Patients are getting their medication again. And, not to mention, there's businesses that are running, that are being, employing people, providing jobs, paying taxes, and obviously, that's not something that they want to have up north in those counties up there. Like I said, totally different ways of handling things. And think about the people that are involved. These folks down here, they're like, okay, let's go get a license. Let's pay whatever fee we got to. And they go back home at the end of the day in the same car that they went to work in, and life goes on. These folks up here are worried if they're going to get pressed criminal felony charges. They've had their stuff taken from them, their business shut down, the meds taken away, took their cash. So they can't even go get an attorney. I mean, come on. The same situation, totally different way of handling things. And to me, it's extremely sad that this ambiguity continues to go on in these certain areas of the state. I mean, obviously, it's going to be a cost to taxpayers down the road when it starts getting into court costs and fees and fines and all this and the other. It's despicable. It shouldn't be happening. And the people up there that decided to make it go down that way should, take a look in the mirror and decide if they're really administering justice or not. Because to me, that's not justice. That's just old school boy way of doing things. If you didn't want them in town, you could have closed them down, but you didn't have to go freaking try to threaten them, put them in jail, take their stuff. It's just ridiculous. I know they didn't go to jail, but you're threatening them with it. It's ridiculous. All right, I'm moving on here. What else we got going on? I think that's about it for the state of Michigan. That's plenty. I mean, good grief. You got laws getting thrown up there. You got raids going on. It's a lot of stuff. But meanwhile, the world goes on. And, has there been any other states that have added on medical marijuana to their availability? John, have you heard of any?
I haven't. Probably in the past month and a half, I haven't heard any movements or anything else. But I mean, I just, catch here or there on Facebook or, other postings or something like that, links to stuff. So I haven't seen it in about a month and a half, maybe 2 months.
Yeah, I think the most recent one here was the state of New York and their program. Of course, this is, like a socialist kind of program. They're only allowing 5 places to do business. They got 6-figure application fees involved and 6-figure registration fees on top of that. So But at any rate, that's about it.
Talking about the old boy network. You know?
Yeah.
So you got deep pockets you're in. So.
All right, and another big story, and I don't really want to talk about this story, but it's making national news. It's actually making international news. This is another civil asset forfeiture story, unfortunately. But this is a medical marijuana user, and I'm reading to you from rawstory.com. But this is a medical marijuana user, I believe her name was Jennifer. Jennifer Hensey told a group of Michigan lawmakers last week that a drug task force raided her home and kept everything that she owned, basically everything, including her vibrator. The judges dismissed the charges against her after, of course, finding out, what had been done to her, and the case was thrown out. So that's a good thing, but it just goes to show you the extent of what sometimes people in power think they can get away with when they're not being checked. So took her own personal, I think they're called personal massage tools or like
pleasure device. I don't know what you'd call them.
Personal pleasure device.
If I were her, I don't think I'd want to use it because God knows what those cops did with it when they had it in their possession.
But I kind of like, kudos to Jennifer for, I hope that's Jennifer, Ms. Hensey. Kudos to her for having the guts to, not only talk about that in public, but actually go to the, Capitol and say that in front of the leaders there at the Capitol to let them know the extent of how ridiculous the people that work for us, the people that are supposed to be representing them, that work for them as well, are getting. You know what I mean? And to be able to take it to that level, obviously, you talk about something like this in public, it's humiliating, I'm sure, for her. Maybe it isn't, who knows, but, at any rate, it's not something that's normally discussed. And, it's something that shouldn't have to be discussed. But when we have people in law enforcement that are, going that far into people's lives to try to humiliate them, I think it's good to have it turned back on them and to say, look, you're the one who should be humiliated here in this case because it's you who's invading personal privacy. And how would you like it if someone went through and took your personal items and then dragged them out in public and tried to turn back around and say, well, it's because you're a drug user. When, obviously in this case for Ms. Hensey, she's not a drug user. She's not a drug dealer. The charges were dropped and the case was thrown out. So
it's almost like laughable, except for if you look at the principle of it.
It is laughable, but at the same time, it's also very sad.
It's like, McCarthy was shut down by one person after the House committee during the anti-communist era. But, McCarthy was like always trying to find a communist, and finally one guy said, "Don't you have any decency?" And I mean, it seems like that's a refrain I like to have repeated towards our LEOs now. I mean, it doesn't seem like. Yeah. I just can't understand their zeal. I can't understand that, how they want to go so far to prove to their masters they're doing such a good job. I just can't understand that.
Yeah, it's definitely, it can be discouraging at times. But, all in all being said, I think that, the majority of people out there are respectful, especially, people that are in law enforcement. And so I think it's also something that we have to keep in mind to, don't approach them with a chip on your shoulder because you've been watching all these videos on Facebook. You know what I mean? They're not all like that. So that's something else to keep in mind. Like the encounter that John had with the gentleman at the military exercise up here. That guy's just doing his job. He's only allowed to say so much. And John did a great job of trying to get more information out of him. And, you do kind of have to try to badger people in authority to give them what they're supposed to give you anyways, which you shouldn't have to do that, but unfortunately you do. And, at the end of the day, when you blindly follow orders, I don't know, man, you got to check yourself. So there's a difference between doing that and still being respectful. You got to be respectful of the people that you're trying to serve and the people that serve you. So, all right, anyways, I'll quit preaching. Thanks for being with me on this week's show. It's good to be back in the studio. It's absolutely gorgeous outside, so please get out there. Please enjoy it. And thanks for being here, allpointstv.com. John, thanks for being back in the studio, man.
Yeah, and also I apologize. I had the wrong date up during the first show, so it's on the right date. So I looked at it, oh, damn. So anyway, it's 6/3, so I had 4/20. Yeah, the 3rd. But anyway, also I'll post the links to those videos, too.
Yeah, check them out, guys, for sure. Cool, all right. Thanks for joining me this week. See you here later on allpointstv.com and the Genesee County Compassion Club show. See you.